Okay, dear Babaji, the Rishikesh Open Satsangs are 6 weeks away. But already I'm getting many requests from people asking to be in your presence. By this, they mean that they want to be able to meet with you outside of scheduled satsang times. From these requests, I see that people feel that being in your presence in satsang with many people is different from being in your presence in a small group or in a one-to-one setting. How should I respond to these requests, yours, Sri? This is something recent, Sri?
Yes.
It does happen also, because is there any truth in that? Of course, there's a feeling that when we are up close in terms of physical proximity, that then people are seen more, and if they're seen more, they come under some kind of more active grace or something like this. That can be part of something. Also, that there also can be a sense that, you know, my difficulty is quite private, quite personal. You see? And I used to give a lot of space for that. But very often, more often than not, I would say 80%, 85% of the time, using these type of numbers, I've found that what they have to share is not so private. You know, we are human beings also, and we know these things. Especially people who have been attending satsangs for a while, you know the areas your mind can go to. We have no real control over that in the beginning. Gradually, as the inner climate changes, then the altitude of your consciousness is much higher, and the lower energies won't be able to survive. Those thoughts don't come anymore. But in keeping really strictly to this letter, in fact, very often people come and they say, "Please, Mooji, I need to see you," and it's so urgent, it's so desperate, you know. And I say, raise your hand in satsang. And of course, we can't meet every hand that goes up, doesn't always get picked also. So I really do feel for this, I really understand that. But as I said, very often people come and it turns out that it's just something that they're a bit afraid to talk in front of people, which I encourage. Say, please do that. I mean, that's partly why it is so great. You step out of your little shell, you know. And we gave a lot of space to that the last couple of years in Rishikesh. We had so many requests also, from not just from people attending satsangs, institutions also are asking and so on. And we took it in good faith, but then when we attended these or met with these groups, I felt it's not necessary, and a lot of it's a waste of time and a lot of extra scheduling and so on. So the feeling was to really not encourage this. Also, I think also largely my exhaustion was a lot to do with the unscheduled gatherings, because in fact sometimes I'm having 8-10 hours of satsangs every day with meetings like that. Plus also English satsangs, Russian satsangs, Spanish satsangs, Japanese satsangs, all these things on top. It's really enough, no? Don't you think? And then after, then sometimes people come back, and so I would prefer not to. I don't want to be so totally strict about it, because life is not like that for me. But on the whole, I would say we try and avoid opening up the doors so that people just encourage, please come, because when you are in satsang, you raise your hand, you're really, what you may have to share is going to benefit hundreds of people. You may think it's only me. No, it's hundreds of people come and say, thank you for this, thank you for this, you see. So, it's okay? Let me put these things here now. Beloved Guruji, this is the third time I'm writing this note to you, you see? The first 2 times I didn't send the emails, okay. Guruji, ever since I came home from Zimar last June, my 40 days and 40 nights started. You know what they're talking about? Who is this? Miriam. Oh, she was here last year. My 40 days and 40 nights started. They are still going on. The attacks of the mind have never been this heavy and cruel. I'm fighting, Guruji. I refuse to leave this body without realizing myself. But Guruji, I'm becoming weak. It feels like I am drowning. I don't belong here. I long to be home. I feel ashamed to ask because you are already giving so much. But could you please help me? Sorry. Could you please help me? Burning at your feet with love, gratitude, and devotion, Miriam. I started talking outside this morning, but just because someone who has been here for maybe a couple of weeks, she was leaving, and I said, I'm touched to call this meeting together, and maybe I can give you a little bit what I'm speaking. So we talked a little bit about this. If you have no interest in self-discovery or finding God or truth, nothing's going to bother you so much. Regular life, little money trouble, relationship trouble, but we get on with it because that's what we feel. This is the stuff of life. But as soon as you smell or taste the heavenly realm within yourself, all hell breaks loose. Because it's as though there's a power released immediately to say, no, you're not going through that easy. You're not going through that easy. And there begins the kind of inner attacks from the psychological dimension, from the egoic side, from the dark forces that are part of the total energy play of consciousness. They come. And I said, however strong they are, however strong they may seem to be, they are only that strong because your true power is greater than them. So in a way, life squeezes these situations, put them upon you, so that your aspiration will grow, so that your determination to not be lazy in these times, that may somehow transcend, you see. They can only hurt you as long as you're wearing the guise of a person. A person is not what you are, but the whole world believes in the person. Whole world being, consciousness in its expression as humanity, as individuality, and so on, you see. That we believe, when I say I or we, the true importance of this is the we as consciousness. Then it becomes natural for you to move, think, breathe, live as a conscious being and not as someone trying to become conscious. This is already an illusion. Or, my life and what I think and what I believe. You now should know that this is personal. Wherever there's the person, there will be conflict, there will be duality, there will be resistance, there will be doubt. Greater is the enemy within than outside. You see? But this enemy only exists for the person, not for the pure self. And I have to remind like that over and over again, because like some form of reflex, some conditioned reflex, our whole attention and sense of being and purpose slips back into the personal mode of consciousness. And so the struggle goes on. Those who are free, they are free because they come out of the state of personhood. They transcend back into themselves. They realize their true nature and are set free from the grip of personhood. It's in the person that there's a history. Even your suffering has history. You see? Your person has history. means that whatever you suffered 20 years ago, you keep suffering on the anniversary of your suffering in the name of personhood. The pure, the self does not have this type of relationship. Ever since I came from Zimar last June, not before Zimar, after Zimar, see, my 40 days and 40 nights started. 40 days and 40 nights being the time of testing. And we know that in the story of Jesus Christ, it was induced, in fact. So it was after the baptism, he was led by the Spirit of God to go into the wilderness. Why into the wilderness? Because nobody's there. In the place where nobody lives, Beelzebub is there, waiting. You see? And then he was going to go through the tests. These tests are very important. You should not look upon these tests, oh, my poor Jesus. No. Each test has to come. The test, in a way, is to look at where there is in you still the possibility or the potential to choose your person over yourself. This is what the test is. You cannot be, it's called the temptation of Christ, isn't it? You cannot be tempted unless you're temptable. Isn't it? So the temptations come. In fact, there's no such thing as temptations. Some suggestions come and you feel tempted. Isn't it? If you say a thing is, this is a temptation, it means that it's the fact that this is a temptation, then everybody will be tempted by it. If the power is in the thing, then it doesn't matter who, they are going to be tempted. They're going to, I want this, and the big fight in here, for this bell. Yeah? But the tempt is you who feel tempted. And in each one, there is the potential to be somehow brought into a state where you're holding on to something that you're afraid to lose. This is the person. And nobody is so clever as to avoid the energetic presence and force of these energies like that. You just have to work them through. You have to look. And one of the greatest ways is through the eyes of self-inquiry. Because it keeps on putting you back in your correct place, which it is only from your correct place that the power and the confidence come to transcend these tremendous forces, you see. You cannot defeat them personally. If you are a person, then you have to call upon the name of Jesus Christ or upon the Holy Spirit or something to act on your behalf, which is also a valid way for tackling these energies also. Or you inquire and you see from where you're looking that all these things you come to see, they are phenomenal. It will not do only as belief. It has to be integral understanding. Integrally true that as you look and you say, yeah, but these things, I feel like I'm being taken over. It's happening to me and stuff. And then you see that, wait a minute. This taking over is what? What it means taking? Let's break it down. What is taking over? You feel your body going stiff. The body's going stiff. Does that mean you are going stiff? Suppose the body's going stiff. And you don't identify. You simply know the body's going stiff. Are you stiff? Is the body being stiff same as you being stiff? Then the mind goes blank. But you're also witnessing blank. You see, like this you retain your serenity and your power because you never leave presence. You say, no, the mind is blocked. Mind is blocked for a sage means what? Nothing at all. It's about time he's blocked. Let him block. You understand? But for the person, oh my God, I'm not able to go further. I want to go through. And I say, listen, this is all your dream, darling. You're suffering not from just a dream, but from the person. And I wonder for how many of you, what I'm speaking is already a living truth. You see? For how many? So it doesn't matter where you are. What are the circumstances, what the situation is for the people. The truth does not fluctuate depending upon where you are. It is constant, you see. When you go to bed, you wake up in the morning. Someone once asked, as I told you, What is your first impression when you wake up, Mooji? The first impression would be, because you asked me, I say this, that nothingness remains unchanged. I'm like that space, not just physical space or the elemental space, but that's spirit space intelligence, the beingness, that is unchanging. Inside it, innumerable changes are playing, but they're insignificant, you see. So, this is one thing I want to put. So after 40 days and 40 nights, they are still going on. So it's more than you're past Jesus now. 40 days and 40 nights now. The attacks of the mind have never been this heavy or cruel. So it's getting, why is it getting more intense? Usually the fight is on to stop you from something. Why? Because something is happening, you see. You stand a chance. And if I can frustrate your power, if I can frustrate your drive, I might inhibit your victory. Isn't it? This is what that side of in the play of the person who's got a light side and a dark side. The dark side will do this. To inhibit your, and it doesn't matter if you are essentially a bhakta, meaning devotional type or temperament, or who believe in God, devotion, love, surrender, or whether you are the jnani type, the philosophical type, who don't even believe in God. The forces are still working there. It's not just down to belief, you see. These are active forces because duality plays in both. I'm fighting, Guruji. But really, I've shown you that you need not fight. You only need know. Fighting means that you take this battle seriously. You take your enemy seriously. And actually, it's a joke, actually. But while you are wearing the garment of person mentally, it will be strong. This is where the fight starts, in the realm of duality, in the realm of personhood. And the person must fight. The person is also a form of consciousness. But to fight by himself, he will not win. But to fight with the power of God, the power of faith, of trust, the power of your guru, this gives you power, and you will transcend. But as a person by yourself, no, you will not do it. Even those of a philosophical temperament, they will not do it by themselves easy. The power of the Master will help you. Grace will help you. That is the strength of the Bhakta, because they have faith in the Supreme. They perceive it a little bit as other, sometimes as a unity, sometimes as other, but they have a relationship with this. Whereas the one who is just me, there's only I, you see, it's more difficult somehow. Because here, the possibility of arrogance can flourish. You see. But it's also a very direct path also. Some of the greatest recognitions I've seen have taken place where this non-dual pointing has happened in the mind of a bhakta. I've seen the most powerful seeing, because they have the trust, they have the innocence of the one, of a child of God, and now they've got the wisdom, you see, as well, and no chance. There is an hadith, I think, of the Prophet. He says, he who seeks God finds himself. He who seeks himself finds God. And I loved this because it showed that Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, they're all one. The important thing is the ego is transcended. You see, by whatever parts, depending upon the temperament of the seekers, you see. you can say in the end, in the most subtle way, there are as many paths as there are seekers in the unique unfolding of one's recognition of the truth. But for a while, we swim along, we float along, ride along in the great rivers of faith. They take you, or the great paths. Whether your river is the river of bhakti, or the river of jnana yoga, or the river of karma yoga, that is, they will take you. But gradually, then you find somehow not your personal individuality, your conscious individuality also can come. This is okay, but your universality you come to. Guruji, I refuse to leave this body without realizing myself. But Guruji, I'm becoming weak. This I who is becoming weak. Don't leave this place without being clear about this. The I that is becoming weak is only identity. It is the idea of yourself, the idea you have of who you are, that has been invested with so much faith and so much attention, so much belief, that the consciousness is living in the mode of that belief. Do you follow this or not?
Yes.
Because we have to come to a point where what I'm speaking has graspable sense for you. Not philosophical sense. If I'm going to come talk with you, I don't want to be a part of it. Because I don't trust in just teaching, learning. No. Pointing and discovering. Looking and confirming. Experience, you see, has to be confirmed internally. And this path is the most direct for that, because it means you can unfold in your awakening today. The realization of truth is not a course. Somehow the understanding sometimes is instant, but then it takes time for the mind to stabilize in it more. You're going to have little excursions again into the mind. But the power is there to kind of bring him back. And gradually, this oscillation from being in the presence and swinging out into the person, it will be there for a little while. But in the meantime, internally, one is growing in stability to the point where at some point this oscillation is also watched in a state of pure detachment. Then you see, but I am not either of those extremes even. I feel like I'm drowning. It's just a feeling. I don't belong here. Here where? Here where? Where are you going to go where the devil can't reach you? You have to go here. You have to be here. I don't belong here. You see? I belong to home. How far is this home? Every other home, you need a key and you need a distance. I'm just going home. I'm just right up there. 100 meters, I'm home. I'm not home now. Where's the home you don't have to travel to? Where's the home you don't have to travel to? Meaning that there's not one centimeter between you and home. Where you and home are same thing. I long to be home. This longing in the traditional attraction, in the play of attraction, is very important, because the longing keeps you hungry, keeps your aspiration, and aspiration sometimes need to develop. When aspiration for truth is developing, it's burning other desires, it's burning, other attachments are burning. So sometimes the longing keeps going, the fire of longing keeps going. In the meantime, it's burning, burning. To the left and the right, it's burning everything. So finally, only it is left, you see. Now, it is said that the desire generally is taking you away through the senses towards some sense object, towards some projection. Only one desire is good, the desire for truth and freedom. That one is good. That desire is likened to, in India, an example is given that when, say, one of the parents pass away and they go to the cremation ground, then they say that the eldest son, he's also having this stick. They make the fire, you know? They put the body on the fire. And then someone has the stick. Sometimes a limb fall off, you know, if you ever watch these things. And they have to put it back on the fire. And everything is burning. The last thing to burn is the stick that's putting everything else in. That also gets thrown into it. This desire for freedom is like this. It is putting everything back in the fire. When everything is burnt, it also gets burnt. You see? I said also, if you're walking barefooted in some place, you step on a thorn and it breaks off in your foot. It's very, very painful. You might get another thorn to remove this thorn. And when you remove that thorn, you throw both away. The same example. Now she say, I feel ashamed to ask because you already giving so much. But please, could you help me? All the time you are being helped. If you want to know the help, the greatest, most accessible help, I told you, you must come here. Leave everything else and come to the state of presence, because you cannot leave a state of presence. Not by determination, you cannot do it. By determination, you can come to it. By determination, you cannot leave it. Only by the highest power can you transcend even presence. Use your ability to come to the state of presence. When you come to the state of presence, you'll find the Lord there. That's the unity. You are one there. You see? And all these other things, they will not trouble you. They will not trouble you. Burning at your feet. Even a great mansion, how long it takes to burn down. Even a great mansion, 100 bedrooms, put on fire, how long will it take to burn down? Maybe overnight it's burned down. Your burning is going over more than 40 days, 40 nights. You're burning, your house still burning. Why is it burning? You're more combustible than wood. But you're still burning. What makes the burning perpetuate so much? Because we keep going to and fro, going back to the old identity, and then it wakes up new things being stirred up. So this coming and going, this sometimes that, it delays or perpetuates the state of suffering. Like that. This is why I say, as soon as you have the conviction in your heart that I'm here for freedom, you see, then you put 100%. Grace is with you. Grace will match you. Then you must cross this bridge. You have a limited time. The mind, the devil has a limited time to sabotage and to break your spine. Okay? But the more you delay by identifying, going back to your person, reminiscing, holding on to memories, your bridge grows longer. You understand? The bridge is only like this to this. But the more you dilly-dally, and then the bridge is going longer, so you find you're still crossing the bridge. You're trying to get to the safe land of your own self, but the bridge keeps getting longer. This becomes a mirage even. But if you are total in your heart, I'm just here for this, doesn't matter. Lightning, thunder, thunderbolt, tornado, earthquake, tsunami, they cannot stop me. Then you're over. It's the same for everybody. Don't keep imagining that you're a weak thing. If you imagine yourself weak, you must hold on to the hand of God. Hold on to the Holy Spirit. Hold on to the Lord Jesus Christ. Hold on to the Christ light, or to Shiva being, or the Christ consciousness, or the Krishna consciousness. You hold on to him. That is. And you can let go of everything else. He will take you there. But if you realize your true place, you will feel strength also. When you realize your consciousness, you see, there's no division. Non-duality becomes a natural thing for you. You see? Hello, Mooji. I feel moved to write you once again. This time, I just want to tell you what is going on here because I really feel giving up with your teachings. Okay? I really feel like giving up with your teachings. I was willing to put everything in the fire, not knowing where I was going. I have to admit that in the beginning, I was attracted to your teachings by my ego. Whatever that means, by my ego. With time, and little by little, all the rubbish was just disappearing. All the hidden tendencies were falling and falling without any intention. The only thing that remained was the longing for truth. Now, a very big resistance has come, and it's very psychological and full of rage and fear. It has been like this for more than a year now, and I feel that I'm getting mad, and without your help, which I've asked for many times but not received, I feel I can no longer continue this way. I want you to listen because maybe one of you could have written this letter, or maybe in future also. I do not know if I was on to something, as you often say, or I really totally misunderstood your teachings. The other option is that I am possessed, which is something that I have been considering seriously since very strange things have been happening here. I've never felt such a rage like this before. It's really wild. The more emptiness takes me, the more it comes. Even if I stop for just 1 second, rage and seizures come. This is not some little toy, is it? There is no way to let it be any longer because it brings me into a deep psychological state which I cannot handle, and my body is no longer capable of taking it either due to strong contractions and seizures that come when I let the whole thing be. On the other hand, being in the world, there's a constant and uncomfortable feeling that happens, like a very extreme sense of inadequacy that turns into physical and psychological pressure. This was the reason why I became interested in spirituality, and now after several years of following your teachings, this is still here. I've ended up totally alone at a point where I honestly must look if this is really working or not for me and take a conscious and responsible decision about it. I was totally willing to go all the way, but perhaps I've been looking in the wrong direction. Can you see? I do not know, Mooji. I just wanted to be with you until I was done. That was my wish, and it doesn't seem to happen even now that I feel in need of help more than ever. I do not know what else to say. May life will bring what is needed now, that I don't see any other option than to be open to it and forget about satsang and you for a while. I do not know why I just cannot hate you as my mind does. May you have heard all the things that I've been screaming at you these days as a way of expressing this deep feeling of rejection and abandonment that is here since the last retreat. Just wanted to say that I love you. Please don't give up on me, even if I do. And this is from Ivan. Namasté, Ivan Pereira.
Ivan.
Ivan?
I remember him from his mouth. I think so.
You remember him. This is the reason why I want to call you. You may feel, oh, poor guy. but maybe poor I. Because until you are really clear, like I tell you, like this, maybe you are never going to fight for anything else in this world like you fight for yourself. Maybe you're not going to fight for anything in life like you fight for yourself. You may think, oh, the guys who have never gone to spiritual, they're better off. They're driving Lamborghinis around the place, they're having fun, they're new clothes, they're all having holidays, they're going away with their families. I am here dying in my attic. You see? So you need to be very clear about these things. You see? Why are you perishing? Why are you suffering? I told you, you will taste this, but it should never overwhelm you. Or even if it feels overwhelming for a time, you will overwhelm it. You see? Because somehow you go back to your person. He's forced you to go back in your person. And when you go back to your person, you're like an invalid. You're helpless. You're like, oh my God, you're shaking in your shoes. You see? You must go to your heart. You must go to that place that the devil is afraid of you. He said, no, I don't want to go near him. No, I don't want to go near him. No, you can't mess with him. This one I go, yeah, come here, I want to take him. With him, they have to be afraid of you. This is why I write, you see. I don't know why I just cannot hate you as my mind does. At least there's somebody inside your nose. Huh? And the difference between myself and my mind. My mind hates you. Because my mind is the playground for him. The wrong him. You understand? He don't want you. Your mind is not afraid of you. You understand? Because you created a relationship and you still value him. I'm not talking about the functional mind. I'm not talking about the mind you need for practical living. The sages also use that. But the mind that is containing a psychological identity, that emotional relationship with our past and our desires and projection, self-image, this mind, you must watch him. Because only now can you begin to see. As you begin to wake up, you see the weight that you're carrying in your life, whether you're conscious of it or not. Whether you're conscious of it or not. It is good that you're conscious of it, because then you come into some conscious suffering for a little bit. It is okay. It is not the end of the book. But you must taste this. Like every living being must taste this. And you must grow in strength because of it. Not descend into hell and weaknesses. Sometimes you have to go this road. You have to go from the top right down to the bottom in terms of your feeling. But I have not let go of you. And truth has never let go of you. It is impossible. You see? But you also have you must also hold on. Not hold on for dear life. Maybe for a little few days. You feel like you're on drips. You have to hold on. Okay? Because it said that even Christ on the cross, isn't it? At one point he reached a point, he said, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani. My God, why have you abandoned me? For a moment. But again, recover. You'll go to the bottom, you'll come to the top again. You'll fight. And don't think that life is bad because of this. Life is great because of this. Because this whole life is a play of transcendence. Of somehow taking the sleeping tablet of the ego, where we become some being that imagine you're separate from the truth. At first, you don't even think you're separate from the truth. You think you're only separate from your partner, only separate from your job, only separate from your children, or separate from your friends, separate from your country. But then you start to believe, actually, no, the reason why all of these come is because I'm believing I'm separate from God, my own source. As you begin to recognize this, you see, and you realize, wait a minute, but this cannot be true. What has caused such thinking to happen? You see? So satsang is really your home place. your home base, your support in this life. The Supreme has provided satsang as not the waiting room, the waking room to come out of this sleeping. So none of this is theory. All of this pointing rather than teaching, I say. Because I don't want to turn you into student, just learning, but into discovering. When you discover something, it's alive now. It's not alive in the waiting, it's alive now. You see? When I say that this is a tree that bears immediate fruit, this is what we're speaking like that. In the beginning, you see, look, I was willing to put everything in the fire, not knowing where I was going. I had to admit that in the beginning I was attracted to your teachings by my ego. With time and little by little, all the rubbish was just disappearing. All the hidden tendencies were falling into without any intention, without any effort, they're falling into things. Like some power is telling you, look, I'm with you. When I'm with you, you don't have to exert any great effort. I am with you is enough power in you. I did not come to visit you. I am here in you. You see? That is the subtle voice. That voice is the purest form of duality. Then it must merge into oneness. The only thing that remained was this longing for truth. Now a very big resistance has come, and it's very psychological and full of rage and fear. Where did that come from? You see? Why didn't it happen before? Why didn't it happen before you go to Zimar? It was not necessary. When you're living in the mafia's back garden, you're quite happy, you've got a nice apartment, you feel very happy. You shake his hand in the morning. Don Mafioso, thank you so much. Okay? But when you want to escape, then you see he's gone. Before, no, I don't show you that. You want to get away, different story, different relationship now. And this is something, it's a bit, putting a little bit of a cartoony effect on it, but it's not so different, in fact. Something is moving away. You're finding your own power, not a dependency power. And something inside is holding. You have to find out who this I is. You see, if I look in every part of this letter, every little paragraph, it has got I in it.
Yes.
I, a number of times. Which I is it? Which I wrote this letter? Is it written from the I consciousness, from the I presence? Is it written from the absolute? Is it written by the body alone? Did the body write apart from you in the night when you sleep? The body get up right letter? Is it written by the mind? Like your mind? Is there your mind? There's the air here. Belongs to nobody and everybody. When you breathe it in, it becomes my breath. Breathe it out. You don't hold it. Have you seen my breath? The one that, no. It was never your breath. It's breath. Mind is like this. You make use and become my mind. When you start to create the habit, the relationship with a certain tendencies, you say in your mind. Now a very big resistance has come. It's very psychological and full of rage and fear. It has been like this for more than a year now, and I feel that I'm getting mad, and without your help, which I've asked for many times but not given, I feel I can no longer continue this way. I showed you where the help is. It is my help also. In you must find this place. Go back to the feeling I am. And don't combine it with other feelings that you are brought up with. They are conditioning, they are things you learned, and we held them and co-joined them with our sense of self, but they are not original to you. So you have to sieve out all these things. So only your sense of presence is left. Stand as the sense of presence, because without the sense of presence, nothing else can be perceived. So it is the king, it is the deity of the waking state. You must come to this place and look as and from presence. Because you see, I receive many letters, I cannot answer each one, then I answer, then they write again, and then I write, and then they write, and it's like pen pal. Can't do this. I point you to something which is a powerful thing. When I say to you, if we spend one day together, a true day together, this day will last all your life. But if you spend it on the beach, then it will be forgotten like other days are forgotten. If you spend one day with God, you will never forget it. But if you spend one day with your person and with just persons, you will easily forget it. It is good forgettable as well too. I do not know if I was on to something, as you often say, or really totally misunderstood your teaching. The other option, but would you have said this in Zimar? You must go in Zimar. Maybe you even came up and talked with me. You must go and watch the video again and say, listen, look at how who was that? Who was that luminous being? So full and strong. Where did that strength come from? Did I imagine it? Or am I imagining this? Or we try and do something to come and spend 1-2 weeks here. Maybe this is what has to happen. Come and spend 1 or 2 weeks here. Because maybe when you've been in the wilderness of your own delusions, then you will really value being here. You see? So this weekend follow up. It's not only listening to the words also, but it is really using the presence and to imbibe the presence and to confirm over and over again. You see, like if you take a piece of bit of metal or something and you put it in the fire, like we make fire outside, leave it in there for a few hours. You can take the metal or the wood and touch other things and set them on fire because they carry the same heat. They become fire, but only for a while. The wood will burn out and become charcoal or ashes. The metal will become cool again. You can put it on your skin, on your tongue, on your eyes, you can put it. But when he's full of fire, you can touch him, bring him even near to something, he will jump onto it and set them on fire. We would not let you go and walk in the eucalyptus field with a hot poker like that. But after a while, it begins to cool off. Such is the mind. You must not be like a hot poker. You have to be the fire itself, you see. And the only way is going to happen when you realize that you are the self. Not that you are benefiting from the self, that you are the self. Now, this is not some kind of psychological trick to try and make you into what you're not. The mind has already turned you into what you're not. I said some time ago that there's nothing you really need to do to be who you are, because it's the most natural. But there's something you need to recognize in order to stop being who you're not. There's nothing you have to do to be what you are, but there's something you have to do to stop being what you're not. You must recognize when you say I, you must trace the root of this I. Is it sourced in the person? If it is sourced in the person, it's not the true I. When you say I, it must come to conscious presence. When your I is synonymous with presence, your work is finished. Then your very presence is enabling, facilitating, encouraging, supporting the freedom of other beings, just by your very existence. You're like a light that shines in every direction. But until then, the person is a kind of like a light, because always consciousness is in him, you see. The more emptiness takes me, the more the pressures come. Even if I stop for just 1 second, rage and seizure come. And we have seen it. We have seen it. That sometimes this dark force, it is like a dark force, like a demon force. How it can come like this? Or is it just frustration, disbelief, and so on, open the doors for these energies to come? But they are nothing, you see. They are nothing without your belief. You believe in them, you identify, and your belief has a power. It makes them feel true. There is no way to let it be any longer, because it brings me into deep psychological state which I cannot handle, and my body is no longer capable to take it due to the strong contractions and seizures that come when I let the whole thing be. Like if I just leave it, you see, if I just leave it, it's still problem. Why? You leave it, but you remain you. The wrong you. You leave everything, but it will not leave you, because you are still the wrong you. You're still holding on to the sense of person. Okay, I give it up, okay, leave me alone. But you're still in the mode of the person. Listen, you have really got to take this on. Because you have no reason to fail. You see. But your mind, if you divide yourself, you see, thinking that, oh, I need this, then you weaken yourself by needs. Relax, and you will discover the life which is your cosmic unfolding. It is rich and it is complete. But the mind tries to create another life, a life of your projections and so on. And then we are not able to control our projections. We can't put them down. And they will fight against your natural life. You see? They will obstruct, you see, the natural processes. They'll interfere with them. They'll block them. And you're not able to let go. This you is who again? Again I ask you, who is this you? And the minute you keep seeing that this you is your mind, is the mind-formed self, it's a psychological based self, then what sees this? Where are you seeing this? Where do you get the power to see this and recognize it as psychological self? It is coming from your real place you're looking from. Then look from your real place now. Look around inside your real place as your real place, and tell me if you suffer. And tell me if you have escaped also. Now, is this work too much for you to do? I want to ask everybody, is it too much for you to do? Because human beings are building spaceships to go to other planets. You know? I see you doing things on the computer. It's more hard work than this. Okay? Why is this hard? Because resistance. Resistance, reluctance. And you don't want to give up the things that your mind has decorated and made them look like. The mind has, just decorated your toilet to look like your bedroom. To look like your bedroom, and you don't want to come out. No, you are my toilet. I'm sorry, my examples are not always elegant. Long letter. On the other hand, being in the world, there's a constant and uncomfortable feeling that happens. like a very extreme sense of inadequacy that turns into physical and psychological pressure. This was the reason why I became interested in spirituality, and now after several years of following your teachings, this is still here. I've ended up totally alone at a point where I honestly must look if this is really working or not for me, and take a conscious and responsible decision about it. You again, you again, you again, you again, you again, you. Who the hell are you? Who the hell are you? You are the you from hell, actually. But you don't see, we don't see, you see? Because even after such a moment, we still go back to, I heard, and I am trying. I say, you again, you again. You again. We just. I told him with a Jamaican song. Huh? Yeah. You pick him up and lick him down in bounds right back. What a hard man to live. I pick him up and lick him down in bounds right back. What a hard man to live. It's a beautiful song. I picked him up, I punched him down. He bounced right back. What a hard man to kill. This is the same one. And what happened, you see, we're used to thinking of enemy outside. We buy binoculars, not to look inside. But to look outside. Right? You miss the one inside. Like you don't expect. Everything on the inside you call yours. And you. But the worst one is the one who blinds you to your true being. You see, you embrace him. So when you stand up, him stand up with you too. When you sit down, he sit down. And he, as I said before, can slip behind the eyeballs of the perfect seer and say, behold, no ego, no way. You better listen to me, man. Tell you about this thing. Because I know him very well, although he doesn't exist. If you follow me. I was totally willing to go all the way. I, again, is who. But perhaps I have been looking in the wrong direction. I do not know, Mooji. I wanted to be with you until I was done. That was my wish. And it doesn't seem to happen even now that I feel in need of help more than ever. Sound genuine? Oh, yeah. Poor guy. But he dresses himself even to be humble and to be so, he's helped me. But he's a devil. But the thing is that you don't want to identify him as a devil because your relationship is so tight. You mix him up with your own self. So he can appear like, oh, but I don't know what else to do, and so on. I am calling him like that. I'm brave enough to call him like that. Okay? Because sometimes he slips out and then you're in a nicer mood and you feel, oh, actually you feel more conscious, you feel more clear, and he's not here because he can't stay all the time. When you're feeling low, he comes in. Hello? How are we doing? I don't know what else to say. May life will bring what is needed now, that I don't see any other option than to be open to it and forget about Satsangs and you for a while. So some sense, some nonsense is there. Some sense, some nonsense is there. You're coming in and out of focus. It's like something doesn't want you to focus. Are we making these things up, or are these forces playing inside the mind? Are they playing inside the mind or not? Final point. I do not know why I just cannot hate you as my mind does. And this mind if your mother is God, you will find a way to hate the mother. You understand? To turn you like this. May you have heard all the things that have been screaming at you these days as a way of expressing this deep feeling of rejection and abandonment that is here since the last retreat. If you are this, you are high maintenance. Am I right or not?
Yes.
Because the nature of someone who becomes very self-obsessed in a negative way is they drain the life force of everybody around you.
Yes.
They will take all the power of your family. They'll drain all your friendships, people to leave you because you're so demanding. You see. And your negativity itself will suck the energy of beings around you. And yet we are radiant beings. Radiant in the light of the living God. And you will exchange your radiance, you see, in order for this little sweetie of a person, you see. Everybody must taste him, you see. This is what this is. God has to become a kind of person to taste this. And this devil is part of the total play. He's part of the picture. You can't be without him, you know. He's up there, he sits and talks with God. You understand? But he knows he has to put his head at the foot of God. And God has to take care of him and his dominion also. Because there's nothing apart from him. We can only play apartness. We cannot be apart. This is why there's Maya. Maya means to dream. God has to dream separation. He cannot be separate. If he's separate, then he becomes 2, 3, 4, 5, 100,000 gods. When we are all awake to ourselves, then God doesn't even have to be God. Then he just remains pure consciousness. May you have heard all the things that have been screaming at you these days as a way of expressing this deep feeling of rejection and abandonment that is here since the last retreat. Just wanted to say that I love you. Please don't give up on me even if I do. I'm happy we close on that note, you see. Yeah. How sad it would be you come all this way. And if you surrender at the end of it to the wrong thing, then how are you going to get back up again? Because it will write itself in your memory that going on that retreat was nice for a few moments and terrible for months. And it will not present it as an attractive picture. It will be difficult to get back on the road. You see. This is why it's so important. This is why I call you today. Because I saw this letter and I thought, I must put this in to talk. Because this is a root letter for a lot of beings. The more you continue, when I said the other day, I said something that you live the life, you're in the life, you don't know yourself as consciousness yet. And your life seems fine. But as soon as you begin to meditate, as soon as you begin to inquire into your nature and begin to smell the fragrance of the freedom, then you start to discover how troubled your mind can be. Before that, no, you don't know. It's just mind, yeah, brilliant mind. My son's got a brilliant mind. Like this. But when you try to go, not to university, not to go and anything in the world you want, it's fine. But the minute you want to be free, the minute you sense already that you are still not enough with all the things, all the cars, all the relationships, all the money, all the wealth, everything, but something is missing, and you start to look, the heat is on. You see? Once you begin to recognize that you are presence, transfer your power into presence. Don't keep lingering on the person. The person will make your crossing over long. It will turn the crossing over the bridge into a long journey. Take lifetimes even, if you can. It is said that it took the children of Israel in their release from the Egyptians 40 years to cross the wilderness, which could have taken them maybe 40 weeks or something. Just because of their own rebelliousness, it had to take this time to mold them into a nation that works as harmony. Is not what is the macrocosm is for the microcosm also. In each person, our own resistance, our rebelliousness, our doubts and identity and the desire and attachments, all of that is like cholesterol into the arteries of being. It's slowing you down. And yet, in the twinkling of an eye, you can be set free. You see? Not freedom in installments. You can be, just somehow you see, I was looking from the wrong place. I was looking as though I am this thing. But I'm seeing that which I'm identifying with itself is phenomenal. I could see it is also phenomenal now. And this must burn deep in you, burn deep in you. This seed must stay there, and it must die as a seed and start to sprout as a tree in you, more and more. And this mighty tree cannot be cut down by the mind. And another thing, everything is on your side. Just you need to be on your own side. Because there's another voice, another player is in the game. There's another player in the game. And he's coming from the back door. And you must know his voice. You see, don't leave him. Don't let him be your life company. And don't feel sorry for yourself. Feel grateful for your life. Feel grateful for your life. Like this, you'll burn all these dark energies. You burn. Be grateful for your life. If you have one more day, one more hour to live, be grateful for your existence. Be grateful to God. Say thank you that you gave me the chance to experience all this mighty universe. That you gave me a universe to experience my universe. You see, and no trouble will come for you. There should only be room for one in here, in this temple. Make sure the right one is sitting on the throne. If you have room for two, there's always going to be arguments in here. There's going to be arguments in here. Even if there's you and God, there's going to be trouble. You have to merge. It has to be a unity. It has to be a oneness. Not an equality. A unity, a oneness. Until you yourself totally vanish. That is the best. Then you find you totally are. This is the paradox. The letter I gave you, the one I read, the long one. Now, it should be read as though consciousness wrote it. Because it has been written. Let the I who write here now be I consciousness write it. I the self writes this letter now. Will it be taken seriously, you see? You say, yes, I wrote you this dream I had there. I wrote you this dream. I appeared unto myself as though I was feeling all these things. if we could put everything into a nutshell, I'd have to tell you this thing, investigate your I. When you've heard the question, ask and find out the true meaning of the question, who am I? It is not merely a mechanical process, who am I, but really the I that arises in this body. Discover what it is. Because it is a shapeshifter. I told you that God says, I am. But the devil can also say, I am. Ego says, I am. We have to be clear when you say, I am, to what are you referring as I am? When we begin to recognize the importance of this question, then you begin to see how clever something has been using the I am in the most mean way, in the most limiting way, that I am this person, and how much trouble it causes if I functions primarily as person inside itself. I is consciousness. I is consciousness. I is consciousness. You see? What is the shape of consciousness? What is the birthday of consciousness? What is the star sign of consciousness? Who is the parent of consciousness? Who is the children of consciousness? What is the religion of consciousness? This is called knowledge, that which removes or neutralizes phenomenal knowledge, remove from it the virility towards delusion. Then it becomes light, more playful then. When you begin to recognize more and more, recognize in terms of experience also, who you are, then you see that all concepts, however sublime, they're beneath, they're under you, under. Yet you have no height, but they're somehow under. There's no sarcasm about it, because all concepts are also created by consciousness. But to be overwhelmed by consciousness shows something is misunderstood. See, I almost forgot about these now. I'll try and see what time is it now? We're lunchtime?
Yes. 1:45.
Okay, let me see if we have a nice one here left here after this. I had a strong mystical experience with God 3 years ago. Something indescribable. There was deep peace, but after came mental disease called de-personalisation for more than 2 years. De-personalisation is regarded as a disease. Now I am a bit better, but I'm scared to leave again my mind and to become again crazy. Any advice? Thank you, Mooji, and all the team. So this one seeming little victory for Mr. Mind, you see. Somehow the feeling of being depersonalized means that a deconstruction of the personal identity was somehow registered, somehow written in as a kind of failure. And that it amounts to going crazy. So that's what got registered, you see. Now, listen. So something indescribable. There was a deep peace, but after came mental disease called depersonalization for more than 2 years. Now I'm a bit better, but I'm scared to leave again my mind and to become crazy again. So to leave your mind means you become crazy. Because very often this is another phase that comes for a little bit. That we feel, without your mind, you'll be crazy. A thought come. And then somehow, if you have doubt in you, you may see some people and somebody might say, "You see that guy over there? He used to be like you. Look at him now. Walking around. Oh no, God, I don't want to be like this." Easily put off. So those are the only two choices. Yeah? You get depersonalized, go crazy. Any advice? For whom? The half depersonalized one? I'll take this advice. Thank you, Mooji. I would just say that this idea, we go through a state where there is a sense of a deconstruction of this very, very limited identity is happening. And you must trust. You see? Trust, you see. Otherwise, mistrust will slip in. Because trust doesn't sign the deal. Mistrust come in and say, listen, if you must let go gradually. You let go altogether, and you turn out to make the wrong decision. You see? Cuckoo. Oh, Jesus. I almost went cuckoo. What is this cuckoo when we look at it? That somehow you start you can't remember your name or your birthday. Oh my God, that's terrible, my God. And if it continues like that, I'll forget everything. You see, that's called crazy. But there is a time when you do experience some spiritual or satsang amnesia. You can't remember a thing. What birthday? I'm in January. He said, but this guy's crazy, can't remember his birthday. Because at least everybody must know that they were born. But there's something in you that is unborn. Because you're discovering this, he tends to forget that there was something called born. And so for a while, there is a little period when things do look a bit cuckoo, actually. There's a changing over of power from manual to automatic, and you find things like, some behavior might look a bit quirky for a bit. I better tell you about it now. So we had one girl, she came to Satsang, and then after that she left and she went home. When she got home, car was missing. She said, my God, gee, no, I need it for tomorrow. And so called the police, reported car missing, and so on and so on and so on. As it turned out, she drove the car to Satsang. Come out of Satsang, completely forgot. Took the bus home. Then even one or two of them come Satsang. In London, we find shoes, 2 pairs of shoes. So somebody come to Satsang and walk home barefoot in London, which is highly unusual. So these things happen, and all I have to say about it is, please don't worry about it. It will all come better in shortly, okay? But this is something that is forgivable, is not so bad. Or you go home, you have a bunch of keys, you can't remember which one opens the front door. People looking at you from the street like you're breaking into your own house. You don't know which key is for the house. These things do happen, but listen, they've been happening for thousands of years with beings. After awakening and going back to sleep, I realized that everything I do is fake. But now I look at my suffering and the suffering of people and wonder why we won't snap out of it. I go back to witnessing. I don't know why I haven't, but I do know that I am suffering and life feels like a horror movie, the worst movie I've ever seen. Do I just enjoy torturing myself? Must be. Clarence. Yes. But now I look at my suffering and the suffering of people and wonder why we don't snap out of it. I'd rather go back to witnessing. Then why don't you? Don't have enough bus fare to go back to the witnessing position. I don't know why I haven't, but I do know that I am suffering and life feels like a horror movie. The worst movie I've ever seen. Are we in the same cinema? Or what? everybody in different cinema. I thought we were all in the same cinema. Some people are having a terrible time, and others just can't get enough of it. Or do I just enjoy torturing myself? Maybe we enjoy torturing a little bit ourselves. Was it good that we sat down today?
Yes.